Howdy guys, Cal Kellogg here. Welcome back to the channel. If you're not already a subscriber, please help me out. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification. You'll always know when I'm here on YouTube talking about fishing. That's exactly what we're going to do. It's time for my Sunday morning fishing report. I got a bunch of notes here. Before I get into that, and I'm going to try to keep it concise this week because my wife tells me I'm kind of rambling. I don't know. Anyway, we'll see. But before I get into that, I need to talk a little bit about some criminal activity. Look at this man on the screen. He looks pretty cute, looks pretty cuddly. He's hanging out with me on the couch. He is a low-down crook. He stole a vial from me, just like that. Well, not just like that. The vial he stole from me had $180 worth of gold in it that I dug out of the ground at great personal labor. And I just spent 90 minutes crawling around the floor looking under every piece of furniture we have trying to locate it. I found everything else he ever stole. I found a number 4 treble hook. I found some trolling flies. I found some quarters. I didn't find my gold. So anyway, you see that guy creeping around your house, lock the door. He's got sticky fingers. And I don't know why he was on my desk. That's a big no-fly zone. Not even my wife gets to go on my desk, but he jumped up there and made off with my gold stash. Anyways, let's talk fishing. I'm going to talk about a couple lakes I don't ordinarily talk about, and then we're gonna finish up with the inland salmon bite, or the whole salmon bite. But we're going to talk inland salmon. Let's kick things off with Eagle Lake. Eagle Lake, it's fishing very, very good. It's going to fish better, but it's fishing very, very good right now. The fish are in the top 4 to 6 feet of the water column. Bright colored flies, particularly orange. My bold and bright fly collection that I'm featuring here in the store, that would be an awesome choice if you're traveling up to Eagle Lake. Orange spoons, orange needlefish, orange castmasters, the red dog, trigger spoon juniors in orange, they're working. And grubs are working too. A lot of guys overlook grubs. Grubs really became popular at Eagle Lake, but not as many guys are fishing grubs up there as they used to. But grubs are still an excellent choice. Grab one of my grub kits, some natural colored stuff, the browns, the grays, the olives, all those colors work very well at Eagle Lake. So to recap, bright flies, orange spoons, and natural colored grubs, that's the way to go. The one downside to hitting eagle right now, even though the fish are up near the surface and they're biting very well, you can't really catch and release right now. The oxygen level is too low, surface temperature is too high, and if you try to release fish, you're going to have a lot of mortality. And you know, Eagle Lake is a long way from just about anywhere. It's a destination trip for most of us, and you know, it's kind of a bummer. You drive all the way up there, you got 2 fish by 7:30 in the morning, and you're done for the day. Most of us like to do a little catching and releasing when we get up there, and that's not going to take place for another month or so once we get that surface temperature falling. You know, last November, I was up there the first week of last November, and I think I caught 13 or 14 fish on the day that I was there. Ended up with a limit of fish, 2 fish over 5 pounds, which is very good for Eagle Lake, but I had to release a lot of, you know, small 3-pounders to get those 5+ pound fish. So it's nice when you make the long trip up to Eagle to be able to do some catching and releasing, and that's not the case right now. But the fishing is very, very good. So if you got the time, you got the desire, and you want to catch some very nice trout, by all means, you know, beat a path up to Eagle Lake. But just know that the action is going to be better and even more exciting in a month or so. You know, I really like that late October, early November time frame. You might get some snow. It's going to be cold, but the fishing, absolutely phenomenal. Enough said about Eagle Lake. It is the cathedral of Northern California trout fishing, and I will be there again this fall fishing out of my big Hobie kayak. So anyway, moving on, let's talk about Lake Berryessa, and I want to talk to you about a guide. His name is Nathan Kelch. I hope I'm saying that right. He runs Nate's Guide Service, and I came across a bunch of pictures from his guide service, and it really sparked some fond memories in me about the days, you know, back when I used to fish Berryessa a lot. When I was with the Fish Sniffer, when I was one of the owners over there at the Fish Sniffer magazine, I used to fish Lake Berryessa a great deal. I've had some epic kokanee days out there. I've had some epic trout days out there, and I've caught hundreds and hundreds of black bass at Lake Berryessa. It's a great fishery. It's just a wonderful lake, particularly for people that live in that region. You know, the North Bay, the wine country, Vacaville, places like that. It's right in your backyard. So hey, why not? For me, one of the reasons I don't go over there as often anymore is it's a long drive for me, and I've got a lot of lakes that are, you know, probably just as good but closer to me. But anyway, Nate's Guide Service. Nate is putting his clients on some very good mixed bag trolling. They're catching kings, they're catching lots of rainbows, and they're catching the occasional nice kokanee. So if you want to get out there on Lake Berryessa and have a great time, you know, find Nate online, Nate's Guide Service, book a trip, and as you can see, his clients are having a great time out there fishing with him, just getting who knows what's going to be on the end of your line next. Could be a bass, could be a king, could be a rainbow, could even be a kokanee, even though it's getting a little late for the kokanee. We had one of the viewers, one of the guys that supports the store, go out there, and he did very well. Let me find his name here. His name is Dwayne Ayers, and he was with his dad, Michael. They went out there looking for kokanee, didn't find any kokanee, so they switched things up. I switched things up. I went to power trolling with speed spoons and crippled minnow spoons at 2.7 miles an hour, and we ended up with 8 rainbows and 5 bass. Top rainbow was 3.2 pounds. Top bass was about 4.5 pounds. And they got fished down to 88 feet deep. You know, Berryessa is a shad lake. Those are 2 great shad imitations. They were power trolling 2.7 miles an hour. That's a great speed, covering a lot of ground. They showed fish that are feeding on shad, a shad imitation moving quickly. Good things happen. Whether you put that in front of a king or a bass or a trout, if they're in a feeding mode, show them a shad imitation moving quick, get that reaction bite, fish on. Great choice, Dwayne. Anyway, they had a very good trip at Berryessa. So if you're looking for some action, you're in the North Bay or the Vacaville area, whatever, or if you got the time and desire to travel, go on over to Berryessa. That lake kind of cycles, and it seems to be on an upswing right now. Yeah, guys were kind of down in the dumps on Berryessa for the past couple years, but it looks like it's in the process of making a comeback, and that's great news. Berryessa is just a wonderful fishery. So let's move on. Let's move on to another great fishery that's closer to Sacramento, and I'm talking about Lake Camanche. The trout action at Lake Camanche is surprisingly good. We've had some viewers out there, and there's been some other folks out there. Guys are catching limits of trout off the bank, if you can believe that, in this heat. They found some areas where they can cast into deeper water. They're throwing out power bait, and they're scoring limits of rainbow trout up to about 5 pounds early in the morning. But you know, the best action obviously is being had by the trollers, because they can get out there and work that really deep water where those fish are hanging out. They're targeting spring planters that have dialed into the food chain out there. They're down deep, they're feeding on shad, they're putting on weight, and I can tell you, Camanche is going to be epic this fall, because all those fish are going to come back to the surface as big, hard fighting holdovers, and they're going to join just that sea of planters that they put into Camanche every fall as soon as the surface temperature gets below 65 degrees. So the table is set for epic things at Camanche this fall. But right now, you can go out there and you can get a limit of trout really fast. You'll be done by 10:30 in the morning. Find the fish and show them shad imitations. We had Todd Swinson was out there with his fishing partner. They were done by 10:30 in the morning with 2 limits of rainbow trout to 4.7 pounds. They tried power trolling, that didn't work, so they dropped down in speed, and they ended up catching their fish on pinhead spoons in chrome and copper, as well as fire tiger grubs rigged on slow death hooks. They didn't use dodgers, they didn't use flashers. They trolled that stuff naked between 1.8 2.2 miles an hour. They found the marks, they found the bait, and that's what he said, find the bait, find the fish. They put those baits down there and smacked out 2 quick limits of very nice trout. And Todd says his smoker is absolutely full. So anyway, that sounds like a good time. Wes and I are thinking about going over there. Problem is, we're doing a lot of chores around the house. We're getting ready for guiding season. Wes has been doing a lot of work on his house, and I've been doing my share of work around here too, and I've been doing a lot of prospecting. We're just kind of blowing off steam here because we know we're going to be out on the water a ton once it cools off and we hit Collins Lake again. And, you know, we're slated for a pretty full guiding season. So we're going to try to get out there. I am getting out to Bucks Lake real soon. Probably in a couple, 3 weeks. I'm waiting for that fall action to kind of kick in up there. My wife and I, we can't wait to get back. We did our first trip up there this June, so we're looking forward to, you know, that was pretty much a kokanee trip. We're looking forward to getting in on some trout action up there as the Sierra kind of transitions into the fall season. We're thinking that the trout are going to move up, and we should have pretty good kayaking up there. So anyway, that's what we got going. Let's talk about the Delta. Delta striper fishing is absolutely, I'm not going to say absolutely wide open, but it is absolutely wide open adjacent. It is easy limits out there. You got to find the fish. Problem is, this time of the year, stripers tend to move around a lot. The water temperature is up. There's a lot of feed out there. So where you found them today, they might not be there tomorrow. What you want to do, though, is you want to stay on the move. You want to troll deep running Yozuris, shallow running Yozuris. Put that trick worm on there and cover some ground. The West Bank is a great place to begin. Beginning and ends of the tides is the best time, but get out there and scout out some fish. Now, I had a ex-fish sniffer reader out there the other day. Him and I talked quite a bit. He tried bait fishing and he caught a bunch of fish, but his top striper was only 14 inches. And that's the problem with bait fishing this time of the year. You're gonna get a ton of bites, but you gotta sort through a whole bunch of little fish to get a keeper. With the Yozuris, you're gonna catch some sub-keeper fish, but you have a much better chance of getting a limit of fish, say 20 to 24 inch fish. That's a good goal. You might catch a 10 or 12 pounder, but you know, if you're looking for some fish tacos, I certainly wouldn't release anything that's 22 inches, 24 inches. Those are your eating size fish, and you have a very good chance of popping a limit of those if you find some fish. It takes a little, you know, stick-to-itiveness out there, but cruise around, find them, pound them. Most of the fish are being caught on deep runners, but I don't think that's so much because the deep runner is better than the shallow runner right now. I think guys are more comfortable trolling out in that, you know, 12-foot range. They don't feel real comfortable getting their boat up there in 6 feet of water. You know, you can't blame them. You could hit a log or something if you don't know the water real well. But both the shallow runners and the deep runners are working. It's fish where you have confidence, fish where you feel like you're safe and your boat is safe. Find some marks, work them hard, and you're going to be yelling fish on. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention right now that my store offers the #1 striper, halibut, and salmon rod in Northern California. I developed the rod myself, 3 years research, development. It's a trigger stick rod, foam grip, 7.5 feet long. The action's perfect. The price is right. Maximum utility at a very fair price. If you want one, if you're thinking you need a new rod for stripers, halibut, salmon, get on over to fishhuntshoot.com and grab yours today. End of the commercial. Let's talk salmon fishing. We're going to close with salmon. And man, I'm going to be blunt. Salmon fishing in the river, say anywhere from Benicia all the way up to Red Bluff, it is a suck fest out there. It is brutally hard because the fish are moving through the river at night, and even then there's not a lot of fish moving through. Up in the Redding Red Bluff area, the full-time guides, they're able to put their clients on a couple fish a day, more or less. Some of those fish are chromers that have moved up at night. Some of them are pretty zombified looking. They've been in the system, you know, since early on. They just kind of up there finning around doing their thing. But for the pro guides up there, it's doable. They are catching fish. Those guys really know their stuff, okay? For the average guy, you're going to go out there and get skunked unless you just luck into one. And trolling in the Delta, forget about it. I mean, that is just, you might as well go buy some lotto tickets, okay? Because like I say, they're moving through at night. If you really want a salmon, get out on the ocean. Scores have dropped a little bit. They're not getting limits anymore, but they're getting above a fish per rod. And that means there's some guy on the boat that's catching 3 salmon, and there's 2 people in the cabin that are seasick. So, you know, if you know how to fish salmon off a charter boat, you're going to get your shots. And some of those fish are big. I'm seeing fish that range anywhere from 20 to 42 pounds right now. 42 pounds. I mean, good Lord, that's a big fish. So if you want a big, high quality, great eating fish, get out on the ocean. They're milling around out there. They want to come up the river, but that's not going to happen until it cools down. It's 100 degrees here in the foothills every single day. So until we get some cooler conditions, it's not gonna happen. But it is gonna happen. We're gonna get fish in the sack. It's gonna be great. We're gonna forget about these dog days when we were waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting some more for fish to come up the system. But in the meantime, get out there and get after them on the ocean. You might get one of those 30+ pound fish. I've been salmon fishing out there my whole life. I've had the pleasure of getting one fish over 30. I got a 33 pounder, and I can tell you from experience, man, those, we call them those super slugs. They are a special fish. And now is the time when you can realistically go out there and get a fish in that 30 to 40 pound class. And you can't say that all the time. You know, earlier in the season, those fish are pretty rare, but they've been out there, they've been feeding, they've been putting on weight, they've been putting on size. So there is no better time than right now to get out on the ocean and get your king salmon of a lifetime. It is a thrill, take it from me. Anyway, that's all I got to say for now. I want to thank you guys for all the support. I will catch you next time right here on YouTube. And remember, guys, the fall season is right around the corner. Get your gear ready, because pretty soon we're going to have more action than we can shake a stick at. More action than we can handle. There's going to be ducks and bucks and bears and stripers and salmon and trout going crazy all over the state. And we're not going to know what to do with ourselves. Should I go duck hunting? Should I go to Eagle Lake? Should I go try to tag a deer? I don't know. Anyway, I'll catch you next time right here on YouTube, guys. I got some chores to do. I got to go find my gold. Catch you later.